Hello, my name is Bruce Bailey, and I would like to chat with you today on behalf of the Masonic Youth Committee of the Grand Lodge. We are charged with serving our three Masonic youth groups, Demolay International, the International Order of Rainbow for Girls, and Job's Daughters International. The great philosopher Plato tells us that there are two important questions, the answers to which may destine the future of our society. So here are Plato's questions to ponder. First, what are we going to teach our young people? Secondly, who is going to teach them? I'm reminded of a young man who in his youth, teen and preteen, was searching for answers to those questions we have all searched for. Why am I here? What is my purpose? What does life hold for me? What should I be doing? What am I called to do? What's right? What's wrong? And so on. Now, young people are not the only ones that struggle with these questions. I've had clients in their 40s and 50s and above that struggle with them. But our young man finally found a mentor, someone with whom he could sit and talk through all of life's issues. And oh my, did they talk. They talked about religion and politics, good, bad, right, wrong. They talked about evil. They talked about everything imaginable. And our young man grew to an understanding of who he was, and grew to a deeper understanding of why he was here and what he was supposed to do. As he matured, he eventually moved away, never losing touch with his mentor, and the lessons that were then embedded in his heart and his mind stayed with him. As he grew into adulthood, he began to sense that the time was coming where his calling could be fulfilled. And one day he wakened, and he knew this was it. His time had come. So he rose, prepared himself, went out, caught a taxi cab, went to the local airport. At the airport, he boarded a plane. By sheer coincidence, my cousin was boarding the same plane. My cousin lived in Princeton, New Jersey, and commuted in and out of New York for work. So they boarded the plane, took their seats, and had a routine takeoff. Shortly into the flight, our young man rose, and along with some comrades, took command of the airline, hijacked it, flew it into the World Trade Center. That was American Airlines Flight 11 on the morning of September the 11th. And we learned a great lesson that day. Now, there are lots of lessons to be learned in September the 11th, but there's one overriding in its importance, and it is this. When you capture the heart and mind of a 12-year-old, you gain the ability to change the face of the earth within one single generation. Ponder that thought. Ponder it in light of Plato's questions. What are we going to teach our young people? And who's going to teach them? Those questions gain paramount importance. I remember watching television, and after the disaster in New York, they showed pictures of young children flowing out of madrasa schools, and these young children were overjoyed, thrilled at the success of that day. They waved flags in jubilation. And if you saw any of those pictures, you probably reacted as I did, in absolute shock and dismay. How on earth could these children find that to be so much of a success? And then I realized their hearts and their minds had been captured. You know, we turn on the TV these days, and every day there's a discussion of war here and war there. But the wars in which we are now engaged are not wars for territory as in the past. They're not being fought in Afghanistan. They're not being fought in Kabul. They're not being fought in Mosul. They're being fought on the streets of our cities and towns, in San Antonio, in Austin, in Orlando, in New York, in Poughkeepsie, in Des Moines, Iowa, in Bismarck, North Dakota, everywhere. This war is for hearts and minds, most especially of young people. And so we hearken back to the importance of Plato's questions. What are we going to teach our young people? Well, in the teachings of Demole, in the teachings of Rainbow, in the teaching of Job's daughters, we offer answers to those questions. So we can begin to build an answer to the question, what are we going to teach our young people? The remaining Plato question is even more important. Who is going to teach them? That's where you come in. I suggest there are two additional questions to add to Plato. His two questions: what are we going to teach our young people? Who's going to teach them? And then two more questions. How do you choose to answer Plato? And more importantly, what are you going to do now? Thank you.